So, my recent fascination has been obscure Canadian church plays. I'm referring specifically to Church of the Rock, an evangelical church in Winnipeg. They've got a tradition where every Easter, instead of a standard church service, they put on a little skit of the Easter story by way of a pop culture character. And as the years have passed, these plays have become increasingly elaborate. They're not like a nativity pageant with all the little kids of the church dressed up as angels and sheep and stuff. They're an adult undertaking, like a full-scale production. And you see a lot of the same actors popping up from year to year, so I assume they're high-ranking church officials or prominent volunteers. The plays feature musical numbers, usually parodies or just straight-up covers of pop songs. And obviously, best of all, they all feature a popular children's character dying on the cross for our sins. But don't worry, they'll come back. I have never been to this church, and I don't have any personal experience with this kind of elaborate church play, but I've come to learn that this isn't the only church that does skits like this. However, what sets Church of the Rock apart is that they film their plays. And we're not just talking a home movie for posterity, we're talking a multi-camera, fully edited production with professional sound in stunning HD. At time of recording, the church doesn't seem to have a consistent online archival system for these plays. I imagine because they're afraid of getting sued for their use of these copyrighted songs and characters. But this past Easter, they did live stream a whole bunch of their greatest hits, and I watched them all, and I would love to share them with you today. So, let's begin with 2008 Star Trek. This is the first production I have access to, but probably not anywhere near their first production ever. I'm just saying that based off like the complexity that you can already see at work here. It's probably not even the first production that they filmed because the camera work and the editing is already pretty sophisticated.
Dang it, Spock! I'm a doctor, not a worship leader.
Like, it's lower resolution, but they're already using multiple camera angles and cutting to other media on the screens. And look at the set they've built, it's crazy. But in many other ways, I would consider this one a basic prototype. The energy really drags, there's a smaller cast, and many more awkward pauses. But there's also a really charming earnestness to it. The performers are hardcore struggling the entire time, trying to get the audience to sing along, get on their feet, cheer, anything.
Perhaps if the entire Starfleet would stand with us. The entire Starfleet would stand with us.
Even in productions this early, we've already got live musical performances, which I guess isn't a far leap for evangelical churches. I think they tend to have like Christian rock every week. For the first song here, they've even written custom lyrics, which I always love.
Lived a certain man in the Bible long ago. He was sent from God to the earth, he did go. People heard him speak of hope and of love. And when he told a story, people couldn't get enough. Rah, rah, let us sing to the great almighty King. He took our sins and he paid the cost.
If you see me using a lot of clips from this song, I just want you to be aware that this musical number lasts over 4 minutes. One major difference between this play and its successors is that the actors are forced to physically pass around these 3 or 4 handheld microphones. In every other production, they're upgraded to either headsets or lavalier mics. There's not much of a plot to this play, to be honest. The setup is the Starfleet's captain has been lost inside a nebula, and the only way to free him is to open up the heavens with songs of praise.
According to the sacred book, from the lips of children and infants, you have ordained praise to still an enemy, an avenger.
Praise to still an avenger? That would seem highly improbable.
So the character's mission is to preach or praise or whatever, so each character just takes turns being like, on my home planet, this is how we praise.
If you really want to open the heavens, you get yourself a set of bagpipes.
And then they all do musical numbers, like one after the other. The cast of characters is mostly comprised of racial stereotypes, so we get an Easter cabaret of racially charged songs.
Anyone else?
Sir, this is how we do it from where I come from.
And and the exceptions to the rule seem to just be unaltered gospel songs. So for the most part, it's kind of just a normal evangelical church service, but with an elaborate sci-fi set. I had thought at the beginning when they said the captain had been trapped in a nebula that was the crucifixion and it had like already happened. But it turned out it wasn't, because at the end of the play, Khan shoots the captain.
Finally, I wash my hands of you.
So that was meant to be the crucifixion. Then the captain is resurrected and the play ends.
Captain, even for you, coming back from the dead would seem highly improbable.
We're gonna go through these chronologically, so next is 2009, Pirates of the Galilean. The play is about 20 minutes long and tells the tale of Captain Jack Savior. The actor playing him is doing the physical character mannerisms, and he's trying to do the voice, but in my opinion, instead of like a 100% accurate Captain Jack Sparrow impression, it comes off more like a 50% accurate Robin Williams impression.
Surely I say to you, there is no one who has left house, or wife, or brothers, or children, for the sake of the kingdom of God, who shall not receive many times more in this present time, or in the age to come, eternal life.
The star of this production is definitely this insane pirate ship prop. It's huge. The entire thing's on a turntable. It even has functioning cannons. The songs in this one are weak. The first one is this horrible army-inspired dance beat with lyrics about marching.
Giving up on fishing tack, run along with Captain Jack.
I can tell this is an adaptation where they've just put Captain Jack's name into an existing pop song, but it must have only been popular in Canada because I don't recognize it at all, nor do I want to. The plot of this play is also very rough. Captain Jack Savior is a pirate, but also the son of God, so him getting pirates to join his crew is a metaphor for getting them to live a godly life. There's a pirate named Will, but he's not like the Will from the movie, and there's a female pirate named Mary, who I guess is meant to be like Elizabeth, but she doesn't act like Elizabeth does in any of the movies.
There is an emptiness in my soul that I have not been able to fill, and trust me, I've tried everything.
She and Will sing a song called Lonesome Mary. I think it's just a direct cover of the original song, which I also was not familiar with.
I guess I must be the most contrary, hard to get along with person in this world.
The play gets exciting for me when Davy Jones shows up. And the reason that that's exciting to me is because I think the mask is really funny. All of his dialogue is pre-recorded, so he just waggles his Halloween mask around when he's supposed to be talking. I really like this part where Jack accidentally steps on Davy Jones' line, and then the camera cuts to Davy Jones' accusatory rubber face.
So what now, Jack Savior? Are we to be two immortals locked in an epic battle until Judgment Day? And trumpets sound?
Do you honestly think?
Captain Jack tells Will, he who lives by the sword dies by the sword. More on that later.
Put it away, Will. Don't you know that he who lives by the sword dies by the sword?
Captain Barbossa shows up. None of this is like the movie. They haven't even established the Barbossa character, but I think they just wrote him in because he's played by the pastor, so it's a little cameo. But anyway, it's Barbossa who gives the command to crucify Jack Sparrow.
String him up! String him up! String him up! Finished.
Everyone knows when pirates sailed the seas, their favorite method of execution was to hang a rotting corpse from the center of their common area, where they all have to look at it and smell it and just be around it as much as possible. The resurrection is really fast. In the very next scene, Jack Sparrow swings out on a rope like, I'm alive! And then the pirates all sing my favorite song from this play, What Will We Do with a Risen Savior?
What will we do with the risen Savior? What will we do with the risen Savior? What will we do with the risen Savior early in the morning?
And one lady comes out and starts doing a little Irish jig. It's actually required by law that every evangelical church have at least one person who takes Irish step dancing classes.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the drama and caught the parallels to the Easter story.
Yeah, man, don't worry. I got it.
It is finished.
So the play's over, the pastor comes out, and at the conclusion of the play, he just gives like a normal sermon.
Pirates, of course, they don't have the best reputation these days, do they, with what's happening off the coast of Somalia? But you know what? We know this is all in fun, isn't it? Sure it is.
In my opinion, the plays should definitely be the grand finale to the Easter service before the kids all go out to hunt eggs. The greatest sermon in the world isn't going to top this, especially since the sermon always lasts like a leisurely 40 minutes. But no, they always end with the proper sermon. I do think Jack Sparrow is a very questionable stand-in for Jesus, although I acknowledge that in the sequel films he does die and get brought back. Man, what if the Bible had a whole chapter where 50 Jesuses were running around, mugging and doing slapstick at us? Those movies got dumb. Anyway, let's move on to 2010, Robin of the Hood. If the title makes you nervous, that's a good impulse. This entry to our list is 28 minutes long and it feels like an eternity. I can honestly say in regards to this one that I'm not even exactly sure what they were trying to do. To me, the title and the set that they've built say that they're going for some kind of racially loaded urban flavor. But the soundtrack is entirely Michael Jackson, a singer whom I don't really associate with the Hood in terms of his image or his career. And the narrator is doing like a bad Brooklyn accent.
So this here's the story of Robin of the Hood. The evil Prince John, he had usurped the power.
Speaking really slow in that accent.
He had vowed to fight him and steal back the souls of the lost.
It's a very long opening narration. And then this guy stomps out, and it's even worse news because he's a bad impression of Ace Ventura.
Alrighty then. Let's see if we can corral some souls and get them wet.
Have you ever wanted to watch a youth pastor attempt an impression of a character that was already annoying when Jim Carrey did it? Because if not, you might want to skip this installment in your grand Easter play marathon. I think he's meant to be Prince John, because remember, this is also a Robin Hood story. You probably forgot, because there's a lot going on. He's also a priest, though, but he's like an evil priest. He baptizes people in a violent way. All of the other plays stay generally well constrained to one film or genre, but this one is like the epic movie of church plays. Our Christ figure is Robin Hood, who in this case is also Michael Jackson. The Sheriff of Nottingham is called the Sheriff of Naughty Man.
If it isn't the Sheriff of Naughty Man. Loser! Who? Is a her.
And his joke is just that he's in an inflatable fat suit. I don't think that's a pop culture reference, but I obviously need to brush up on my pop culture that was extremely dated in 2010 when this was made. Wait, actually, I just realized while editing that it plays the instrumental for Bad when he walks out on stage, so I think the fat suit means his character is a reference to the music video of Fat, the Weird Al parody of Bad. Oh my god. This is the worst of the bunch in so many ways. We get like half live cover performances and then the rest of the time they just play entire unaltered Michael Jackson tracks as ambient music for scene transitions and occasionally do dance breaks to them. Robin Hood gets crucified on a fire escape.
What do you guys say we do with him?
Crucify him! Crucify him!
Then get him, boys. He's all yours.
And this next part is the play's only contribution to the Easter play canon. This is our first appearance of what my friends and I would come to call the post-crucifixion lament. It's about to become a staple in all these plays, and it's usually my favorite part. It's always hard to guess what they're gonna do for it. It's a total wild card. In this case, we get I'll Be There.
For 3 days, Robin lay in the bottom of the dumpster, his soul descending to the lower parts of darkness.
After the crucifixion, Robin Hood is resurrected, making him a zombie, so they turn on a blacklight and all the dancers come out in shrouds with blacklight skeletons painted on them, and they dance to Thriller. It's the joyous kind of zombies. Bonus points for the pyrotechnics when Christ rises out of the dumpster. Overall, though, I gotta say this is the worst play by far, and I think everybody kind of knows it. I already said the church did like a retrospective live stream of all the best plays, and this one did not make the cut. I had to get it from somewhere else. 2011 brings us The Princess Bride of Christ. This one runs for 30 minutes, and I was immediately curious how they would even attempt to tell an abridged version of The Princess Bride in that amount of time. The film is wonderful, but it really crams a lot in, and it's hard to omit anything without disrupting the story. It has like 75 iconic characters. Right out the gate, I'm giving them props for their strangely accurate Wesley casting. Actually, the whole cast in this one looks great. I wonder if that's why they picked The Princess Bride, even though it wasn't topical in 2011. Like, do you think the preacher was looking out at the congregation and he was like, wait a second, why do we have like a weird knockoff of every character in The Princess Bride? The first scene kicks off with the rowboat chase, and then Wesley, who is Jesus, starts walking on water. And then Vizzini starts walking on water too and sings Walking on Sunshine.
Just can't wait till you're right near that you're coming round. I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa!
Then when the song ends, Wesley is like, come on, we have to rescue Buttercup from the prince. At the beginning of this scene, Buttercup had been in the boat, but now she's with the prince. And then they all run off together, and it's already time for Buttercup's wedding to the evil prince. This play is really banking on the idea that you've seen the original film, which honestly is maybe not a very good assumption to make if you have a lot of small kids in the congregation. Like, you know, show them the movie, I'm sure they'll like it, but this would be a weird introduction. The Pope, who's played by the youth counselor, starts rapping this one song.
What's wrong with the world, mama? People living like ain't got no mamas. I think the whole world's addicted to the drama.
Wesley shows up to save Buttercup and sings I Want You to Want Me. None of the songs have had any significant lyrical changes. This one is just a straight up jukebox musical, which is honestly very disappointing to me. But this production is notable for these 3 background dancers who shuffle on stage and start doing extremely literal dancing every time a song kicks in.
Shine up the old brown shoes, put on a brand new shirt, get home early from work to hear you say that you love me.
Wesley tells the prince, he who lives by the sword dies by the sword.
Where's your sword?
Well, he who lives by the sword will die by the sword.
That's why I pointed it out earlier. It's like a running joke. It's in almost all of these plays. It's not really funny on its own, but it always gets a big laugh, so I assume it's just an inside joke at this point because they always include it. I knew as soon as I saw The Princess Bride on the list that the crucifixion would be the torture rack scene and the resurrection would be the mostly dead scene with the miracle worker, and I was right. But I don't fully understand why they moved it after the wedding. Wasn't it before the wedding in the film? I guess they wanted the resurrection to be like the very last thing that happened and then not have a bunch of play after it, you know, lest they undermine the Easter tale.
So you're this man I keep hearing so much about. Where were you when we ran out of wine at the wedding?
I should mention that while Wesley is dying on the cross, he and Buttercup give us a confusing rendition of Phantom of the Opera. Wesley comes back to life, and Inigo Montoya sings I Got a Feeling by the Black Eyed Peas.
Tonight's the night, let's live it up. I got my faith, let's spend it up. Jump off that table, like oh my God. Jump off that table, let's kick it up.
That song was a hit in 2009, so it was kind of relevant when they made this in 2011, so... yeah, that's an improvement. Time now to journey to 2012 for The Dark Knight. To bring the DC universe to the stage, the runtime has now been stretched to 35 minutes. This production is like a bizarre mashup of the Adam West Show and the Nolan-verse Batman movies. Everybody looks like the TV show. Robin is here, there's a corny narrator, but Batman is doing the Christian Bale voice because that's all anyone knows how to do when they're doing a Batman impression.
Stop right there, Joker.
They've gone all out on the set design for this one with a functioning Batmobile that mounts the stage on a little ramp. This charming little cardboard car. I love it. And you can see when they made the backdrop, they chose to make one of the 3 buildings the theater where Batman's parents were killed, which feels a bit mean. For our first song, Robin lies down and goes to sleep while Batman is parking the Batmobile.
Sorry I was so long, old chum. I was trying to find a parking meter with time still on it. You see, I'm Mennonite on my mother's side.
And has a very long nightmare wherein he sings The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Devil went down to Gotham, he was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind because he was way behind and he was willing to make a deal.
He changes a couple words to Gotham and Robin, but on the whole, I don't really know why this song was selected. And also, it's 4 minutes long.
Hey!
I guess if we're being honest, they don't try very hard to fit any of these songs into the story.
I may be nothing more than an alley cat, but I feel like a woman. Let's go, girls.
Batman solves a riddle from the Riddler, which tells him he's going to die and be resurrected.
I will suffer at the hands of the Joker, who will die, but in 3 days I will rise again.
And then we get this play's crucifixion.
Take him over there! String him up!
This one is pretty iconic because they actually crucify him on the bat signal. Incredible.
Holy lost causes, Catwoman. There's no hope now.
And our post-crucifixion lament is a song of hope this time.
Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard, their shadows searching in the night.
Could this be it for the Cape Crusader? Has he had his bat cooked for the last time?
I love the corny narration over the grim image of Batman hanging on a cross.
Stay tuned. Same bat time, same bat channel.
God is Superman, he shows up and resurrects Batman, and the baddies are defeated, and everyone sings and dances joyfully. 2013 gives us Tombstone. I can't even begin to guess why they did a Tombstone adaptation in 2013. I tried to Google, what big budget movies did come out that year, and all I can guess is that maybe they thought The Lone Ranger was going to be a bigger hit than it was. I think in this case, it was probably less a question of, what movies are popular right now, and more what genre haven't we done yet? And then they just settled on a cowboy play and called it Tombstone, even though nothing that happens in this has that much to do with the movie. Our hero this time is Sundance, and his sidekick is named Butch Chastity, which I love.
Say, Sundance, where's your sidekick, Butch Chastity?
We also have this character, El Loco Bandito.
Are you talking to me, gringo?
He's intent on taking over the town, and it falls to Sundance to stop him.
I'll come back for you.
I guess I don't know that guy's nationality just by looking at him. So maybe in his case, it is okay for him to be doing this. We can only guess.
Welcome to Coffin Shop. You program, we print them.
How much for this one?
$55.
Okay, I think I can pretty confidently say that one's not okay.
You don't get for $34.50. Now price gone up maybe $40.
Oh my god, it gets worse the longer he's here. And think, this character could have been any Undertaker who looked like anything. I don't recall any character like this in the film Tombstone, so they must have just had a guy at this church who could do this accent and thought it would be a real knee slapper to integrate it into the play.
That's $1 whole. You go to the dollar store, you buy something else.
Wait a second, is that the pastor? I'm not that good with faces, but that looks so much like the pastor in racist makeup.
Okay, you recognize a man.
Please someone set me straight on this. I don't want to make any undue allegations, but it's in front of my eyes. Okay, I'm gonna find some random part of him preaching and put it side by side with these clips so you can help me identify this mystery Chinese man.
Every year we get subjected to a certain amount of criticism, and for some reason I don't seem to be smart enough to anticipate that. I think, I don't know, what are they gonna criticize about this?
I saw you $30 today, tomorrow you come back, I close down.
Give me your opinions in the comments below. So now, back to the play. It's time for a showdown between Sundance and Bandito's men.
Are you ready, Sundance? Annie? Butch? All right, fellas. Let's go!
We get a bar fight set to Ballroom Blitz. This woman is bringing down the house. I don't think I've seen her in any of the other plays, and that's a real shame, because that was great. The actors reveal the set is climbable, which is pretty exciting, and they do a little stunt. And then it's time for the crucifixion, which here is just him getting killed in a shootout and put in a coffin with a cross on it. Kind of weak. And then we get our post-crucifixion lament.
Whoa, let your light shine down.
But it's okay. Sundance is resurrected and the characters all sing Gangnam Style. With original lyrics, hey! Oh, who's that dancing in the back? Oh. And that's a wrap on Tombstone. I must say, not one of my favorites for a variety of reasons. Fortunately, the next production tackles one of my favorite topics. 2014, Rock Star Wars. This is a 36-minute production, so we can see a continued trend of higher effort and longer run times with each passing year. We're off to a strong start. Luke comes in with an electric guitar and starts singing Spaceship Superstar, a song I am not familiar with.
Every night is a different flight to a different galaxy.
But it's a real song, and the lyrics appear to be unchanged. I think it's just a tone setter, because he just comes out and does the song and then he leaves. The set is pretty simple. Like, it's cool looking, but it's just that static-themed backdrop. The real effort obviously went into the props and costumes. They roll out this big cardboard sand crawler, and look at R2-D2! C-3PO is not too shabby himself.
You are the Luke, the son of the Jedi Master.
Very good, C-3PO, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you.
Of course not, Master Luke. I have neither flesh nor blood.
If I could direct a Star Wars trilogy, I'd have all the droids looking like this. Just all the astromechs look handmade, and all the humanoid ones are people in slouchy jumpsuits. Their Yoda is also a big highlight for me. Look at this guy. He's played by two puppeteers, moving his hands and his feet independently, and looks like such a scary little monster, like he's melting. I love it. Oh, I also want to leave in this one Luke line because it got a big laugh, and I don't understand it at all.
I'm going to be traveling to the Altona sector, and I'm going to need a translation droid. Do you speak Low German?
Of course I can, sir. It's like a second language to me.
I don't know. Is this evangelical humor? Is it Canadian humor? More information requested from those in the know. This play actually had a lot more religious dialogue than its predecessors, which honestly I'm digging. Like, what else am I watching Easter church plays for? Like, I don't think it's as much of a novelty to just have a bunch of people on stage reciting key lines from the actual films and then crucifying someone at the end. Don't get me wrong, that definitely has its own charm, but I think clumsily integrating phrases from the Bible is way funnier.
I shall demonstrate the power of the Death Star and destroy Altona.
No! Altona is a peaceful planet. They have no weapons. They are pacifists. They were conscientious objectors during the Clone Wars.
Just a little biblical Star Wars humor for the congregation. As far as the secular humor, they've done this thing where they've marginally changed all the character names to similar sounding words.
I've been sent on a very special mission by only one cannoli.
Only one cannoli? Nobody can eat only one cannoli. They're delicious.
Luke Moonwalker, only one cannoli, Darth Vader. Like, what's the point? It's like that Twitter humor of, like, instead of Benedict Cumberbatch, you're like, Bandersnatch Crumple Crumpet. It's like, that's not funny. Let's leave that behind. Like, all the way back in 2018. We'll just agree that we're done with that. It's over. It's like saying doggo. We as a society, we don't need that anymore. The most painful joke by far comes at us from the youth pastor who's playing Han Solo. He inexplicably does that look at your man, now look at me joke from those old Old Spice ads. Is it Old Spice? It might be Axe body spray. I don't know.
Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat.
You probably remember them. I'll show a clip. It's those commercials where the joke is that they're random. And there are a lot of like quick cuts and scene changes. In this one, it's a play. So obviously there are no scene changes, but he still inexplicably recites the entire thing.
Well, Leia, look at him. Now back to me. Now back at him. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Wookiee juice, he could smell like he's me.
That's the joke. Just a man standing there, like, staring at us with this dead expression for way too long, reciting an entire old commercial.
Look down, back up, where are you? You're on a spaceship with the man your man could smell like. What's in your hand? Back at me, I have it. It's a moon rock with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again, the tickets are now asteroids. Anything is possible when your man smells like me. I'm on a spaceship.
And the crowd goes wild. Musically, I would say this production is one of the most egregious cases of just shoehorning in songs that don't really make any sense and not even bothering to change the lyrics, which would have at least been funny. Leia sings that song I hate called Happy to tell Darth Vader that his torture methods won't harsh her vibe. It's not relevant that I hate the song. I just do, so I mentioned it. Han Solo sings a painful cover of The Joker.
A disaster, I got my blaster. I'm a poor youth pastor. I get my loving on the run.
Leia says she doesn't understand what Chewbacca's saying, and then they sing a parody of What Does the Fox Say?, which was a year-old meme at the time of this production.
What does the walk say?
It's not funny in the way that it's trying to be funny, but I do personally think it's funny the way Han is like completely blowing out his mic in all of the shouting parts.
What the walk say?
The crucifixion in this one is confusing. Like, as soon as I knew it was this topic, I'm obviously trying to think what all the crucifixions are going to be. And this one I was like, okay, Han will probably be Jesus, and then the crucifixion will be Carbonite, even though Han doesn't make as much sense as a Christ figure. But no, it is Luke. Luke is Jesus.
Get thee behind me, Vader. I will never join you.
I am your father.
No. You are a liar and a father of all lies.
But then they do also do Carbonite. So it's just Luke that gets frozen in Carbonite.
Don't worry, Leia. I have a plan.
No! And for this play, the post-crucifixion lament is Space Oddity.
Ground control to Master Luke. 7, 6. Commencing countdown, engines on.
And then right after they're done lamenting, Luke just busts out of the Carbonite like the Kool-Aid Man, and he's back to life. And then they all sing a cover of Counting Stars to celebrate. But fortunately, this song has some very inspired lyric changes.
Lately I've been praying hard. He said, let your light shine brighter, brighter, brighter than the stars.
And of course, we get a painful rap breakdown from the youth pastor.
They will long to you to show the world that Christ is divine. That's why it's Christ in my rhyme. That's why it's Christ all the time. See my whole world around him, he's the life living my life.
I just assume that clumsy rapping is a prerequisite skill for any youth pastor. It's kind of cool that this production predates the Star Wars sequel trilogy. The pastor actually mentions it in his sermon that he's excited for it.
And then they immediately announced that they're doing 3 more movies, episode 7, 8, and 9. You know what that means? That means that our children and our grandchildren will be watching Star Wars just like we did.
I wonder what his sequel trilogy hot takes ended up being. Can he do a sermon that's just that? I want to know. Next up is 2015's Back from the Future. I'm going to have real trouble explaining the plot from this one. I was pretty excited about it because as far as the Christ narrative goes, it's probably the most unlikely candidate. I predicted incorrectly that the crucifixion scene was going to be the scene with Doc where he gets gunned down and then they reveal that he's okay because he had a bulletproof vest. So that's kind of like a resurrection. In a way. But no, I was wrong. This play doesn't even make a lot of internal sense. It's 40 minutes long, and all of our productions from here on out are going to stay around this runtime, which is pretty respectable. Honestly, I'm hoping that after enough years pass, we'll just start getting like full Broadway quality 3-hour productions from these guys. In this iteration of the story, our characters live in Hell Valley instead of Hill Valley. Marty's mom mentions that when Biff took over the town, everything became evil and unsafe. So I think the name is just meant to reflect that this is a corrupt town, which must be redeemed by Christ. But then also they say they have vampires and zombies running around eating people.
Last week, little Aubrey Cron missed the bus, and he was eaten by a zombie.
And there's a sight gag where they have a taco hell. So I don't know, is this like, are they supposed to be in hell? I don't get it at all. But anyway, what makes Marty a Christ figure is he will use time travel to redeem the world.
Business is booming at all my casinos, Club Regent, McPhillips. At every corner I've got a tavern or a bar.
And talking Prime Minister Justin Trudeau into legalizing pot.
I love everyone's punk outfits. I love when theater kids have to try to dress as their idea of hardcore. In this case, it came out oddly steampunk. Doc comes in doing a wholehearted effort at an impression.
Welcome to my latest experiment. This is the big one. The one I've been waiting for all my life.
And then we get to see the DeLorean, which is insane. Look at this thing. You can see they've built it around a mobility device, and it looks so good. It drives, the doors function like they're supposed to.
We gotta get going.
Everyone in the audience gasps whenever it does anything, and I'm like, yeah, me too. The whole time travel effect is extremely cool. I think this is the first year they've had this big LED wall at the back of the stage. It's at least the first year they've utilized it as part of the set. So they use the backdrop to show the little flames on the ground and have done a pretty good job at tracking them to the motion of the car. Initially, Doc and Marty accidentally go to Star Trek, which doesn't make sense and obviously is just an opportunity to reuse costumes from the Star Trek production. It also gives us our cameo from the pastor. When they get to the past, there's an overly long comedy scene in which they just steal an entire exchange from Guardians of the Galaxy for some reason.
Why would I run my finger across your throat?
It's just a metaphor.
Don't you call me a metaphor. I think it went over his head. Listen, old man, nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast.
We also learned that Marty's mom is named Mary, and she has a crush on him. So, strange to retain that for the church play.
I've never seen anyone stand up to Biff like that before. I wonder if he has a girlfriend.
I had thought that they changed Marty's name to Jesse in this play because it sounds a little closer to Jesus, but in hindsight, they actually just changed it so they could have his mom sing Jesse's Girl about how she wants to date him.
I was Jesse's girl. I wanna be Jesse's girl.
Also notable that in this adaptation of the story, the mom incest subplot is never actually resolved. Anyway, let's look at our music selection. Biff sings Highway to Hell and kind of crushes it.
No stop sign, speed limit. Ain't nothing gonna slow me down.
Marty and Doc sing Back in Time from the movie, so not a very inspired choice. Though Marty busts out a saxophone and does some live riffs, which is pretty cool. Marty also sings The Power of Love. Again, not so inspired. Biff and Marty do a dance-off wherein the guy playing Biff just does the entire dance from Napoleon Dynamite. I'll never understand people who think it's a parody if you just put jokes from one thing into another thing. Like, do they think the fact different characters are doing it makes it parody? No! It's just the same joke. And clearly they're unashamed to languish in entire jokes, spanning multiple minutes. I feel like by this point in the story, Doc and Marty haven't actually done anything in the past, but suddenly Doc is like, it's time to go home, because that's just the point in the play that we're at. And then we get the famous clock tower scene. And I don't know if I can even explain it, but this is my favorite part. Like, the first time I watched this, I cried.
Okay, Doc. All right, time circuit's on. Let's go, Jesse. We're ready. We're ready, Doc.
This is my favorite crucifixion in any of the plays, because you truly don't think they're going to do it. At least not literally, because like nothing in the story has really led up to it. And then they spring it on you. Like for a minute I forgot and I felt like I was watching a normal non-Christian play, and then suddenly a twist crucifixion. I wish all movies would spring this kind of thing on you. Like, after 90 secular minutes, suddenly a character strikes a crucifixion pose and dramatic score plays while a spotlight lights him up. After this, we get a similarly amazing post-crucifixion lament with Doc Brown singing Imagine Dragons' Radioactive.
I'm waking up to ash and dust. I wipe my brow and I sweat my rust. I'm breathing in the chemicals.
Then in the very next scene, Marty reveals he's alive and well. He's wearing an angelic white version of his Marty outfit, and they all sing a version of Uptown Funk called Uptown Faith, with a ton of lyric changes, which you know I love.
This man was ice cold, placed in the tomb to save his soul. This song for them hood girls, for the whole world, straight masterpieces. Teaching about sin, forgiving the lost in the city. Got nailed on across the town, but now he's back and he's living.
So yeah, honestly, unexpected hit. This one, I loved this one. 2016 brings us Raider of the Lost Ark. In this play, the Jones family are archaeologists and adventurers, but when they find the idols, they destroy them, because idolatry is not good.
I've come from traveling the face of the earth, tearing down the idols that man has foolishly erected to his gods.
We follow Indy on an adventure to find the Ark of the Covenant. This one is probably our most culturally insensitive Easter play to date, which is quite a distinction.
No.
We've got the marketplace scene with all this Middle Eastern garb, the violent natives, these backup dancers doing every kind of stereotypically ethnic dance move they can think of. In the original film, the bad guys are Nazis, so here we've got a lot of singing, dancing Nazis. I mean, they're not like the heroes, they're depicted as comedy buffoons, but still, a lot for a church play.
You can assure the Fuhrer I have my very best men working on it as we speak. Isn't that right, Sergeant Schultz? I know nothing.
I find this inclusion especially strange considering that the villains in this story could have just been rival explorers or something. This isn't like a real movie where changing any aspect of the plot can have cascading consequences. These are the thinnest plots imaginable. You could change or remove any scene without consequence. So every scene that does appear, they must have really loved it to put it forward. The set design for this one is mostly unremarkable, but there are a few highlights. They use this turntable for a secret door in the tomb, which makes me wonder, like, we saw a turntable in the Pirates production. I guess I thought they, like, rented an industrial-sized turntable somehow. But now I'm like, that's just part of the church, isn't it? And in which case, what do they do with it the rest of the year? I wonder if, like, before every service, the pastor, like, goes like this and faces away from the congregation, and then they, like, play the final countdown and they slowly rotate him, and, like, stage fog is rolling in. If they don't do that, they should. I also like in this scene how they've thrown, like, a dozen rubber snakes all over the floor.
Snakes.
I hate snakes.
And there's this iconic moment in the bazaar where there's a single table of wares, and Indy very gingerly tips it over.
This place used to be honorable, but you've turned it into a den of thieves. Ah!
For musical numbers, we've got Indy and Sala singing Eye of the Tiger, which we're told is the name of an artifact in his research.
And he's watching us all with the eye of the tiger.
The Nazi general inexplicably sings Numa Numa. The Numa Numa video went viral in 2006, making it a decade-old reference at the time of this production.
My colors fade to gray, little love stay, all my colors fade away. Every word of love I used to say, now I paint them every day.
Maybe they were celebrating its anniversary. In the temple, they all perform Walk Like an Egyptian.
Long waitresses take their tray, they spin around and they cross the floor. They've got the moves, oh well, they drop your drink, then they bring you more.
And no, they didn't change any of the lyrics about smoking hookah. I was wondering if they would, but they did not. The crucifixion in this one entails whipping Indy with his own whip.
Proceed.
And tying him up in a crucifixion pose in the tomb, where they leave him to die. So look at that, they incorporated the tomb into the story. That's kind of cool. Our post-crucifixion lament is, for some reason, the female Nazi. Even though she did this to Indy, she is lamenting what she's done. And she sings Rolling in the Deep by Adele.
There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, it's bringing me out the dark.
I don't know anything about this woman, but my headcanon is that she's like the church choir director because she gets a ton of prominent roles in these, and she specifically gets to sing a lot of the post-crucifixion laments. So watch for her moving forward. For the record, she's my favorite performer. It's not a competition, I just thought I'd let you know.
We could have had it all, rolling in the deep.
Next scene, Indy's out of the tomb and everyone starts singing the party rock anthem with original lyrics. Incredible. Wait, who's that coming forward for the rap breakdown? Oh no.
Every day I'm living, trying to show the world why. Try some more than everything you live and try. Better than pretty women and sending and living to get a minute of every woman and man that you admire. It ain't no lie, we're created for him.
I like this one very brief shot where he's rapping and we see the audience and they're just like sitting motionless, giving us zero energy. And it also reveals that these plays have been utilizing the church teleprompter this whole time. Actually, that explains a lot. In 2017, we get The Quest for the Holy Grail. Okay, allow me to deeply upset many people. I have not seen the Monty Python movie this play is based off of. By the time I was born, it had already existed for a while, which means that before I ever had a chance to watch it, I had already been subjected to a lot of people quoting the hilarious parts to me, usually in horrible Cockney accents. So that was a really strong deterrent for me. But fans of the film can take comfort in the fact that I'm watching this Easter play now, which I'll just confidently say is probably roughly the same thing. There, everyone will love that. I was very surprised that this play contains a depiction of God, and he's like a mean comedy god.
Oh, don't grovel. One thing I can't stand is people groveling.
Sorry, Lord.
I assume this is all directly lifted from the movie, but I would have just expected a church to consider it a bridge too far.
I love quail. It's like one of my favorite poultries.
It's grail, you knucklehead. Not quail.
There's so many bad jokes in this one, but I'm really afraid that I'll be like, that joke was really unfunny, and then I'll get like 1,000 comments that are like, actually, that unfunny joke was in the original film. And like, that won't make me retroactively think the joke was funny, but it will make people mad at me. They sing We Will Rock You for no reason. The guy with the comedic French accent sings a song I don't recognize.
Please don't talk about love tonight. Please don't talk about sweet
sweet love.
I'm pretty sure this entire scene is just the same scene from the film.
You don't frighten us English pig dogs. Go boil in your bottom, sons of a silly person. I blow my nose at you, so-called Arthur King.
But you guys need to let me know whether the original Monty Python film contains this extremely dark scene about King Arthur saving an adulterer from being stoned to death. And then she sings Holding Out for a Hero. They do that scene where the knight gets all his limbs cut off and goes, "'Tis a mere scratch," but it's elevated to anti-humor by the fact that you see the character come out on stage and he's so visibly a guy in a big, bulky, homemade puppet suit with plush body parts. You're looking at these extremely asymmetrical arms like, whoa, I wonder what scene is about to take place. This is the first of these plays to do a Last Supper scene, and during that scene, they do an excruciating bit where a guy recites the entire ShamWow infomercial.
Hey, watch this. Hi, it's Vince from ShamWow here. You'll be saying wow every time. It's like a chamois. It's like a towel. It's like a sponge. A regular towel doesn't work wet. This works wet or dry.
It goes on so long. It's like the Old Spice bit. It's the same thing. I have a lot of contempt for people whose entire sense of humor is just like reciting scenes from comedy movies, but it's on another level when they're just reciting a vaguely comedic ad. Instead of a post-crucifixion lament, we get a pre-crucifixion lament, and it's that same lady. I told you. They have Mary wash King Arthur's feet with her hair, and they do it by having her pull her whole wig off, so I thought that was cute. An original joke. Probably. I'm assuming a lot of the Jesus parts are not in the film. When the crucifixion comes around, we also get a mid-crucifixion lament set to Bohemian Rhapsody. I can't. The theater kid energy in this one is off the charts.
Goodbye, everybody. I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth.
The crucifixion is confusing to me. I get that they're executing him, but not how he dies. He does a crucifixion pose, and I think the portcullis is supposed to close and function as his tomb, but it keeps raising and lowering like it's a big mouth trying to eat him. I think it was just the prop malfunctioning, but like, maybe it was supposed to be eating him. Like, who knows?
He's alive!
Okay, let's move on. 2018 brings us The Avenger. This one is one of my favorites. Now we're getting into the big leagues. Most of the previous productions have felt like self-indulgences on the part of the older members of the church because it's a lot of like nostalgic 80s fare. By 2018, it definitely seems like more millennials have power over the decisions because we get a lot more films that are like current or at least known to modern kids. So here we see a beautiful culmination of everything we've been working toward. Now we have a topical concept, we have the longer runtime, we have the higher production value. The set of this one is pretty simple. They've just used the big LED screen to make a city backdrop. I assume this is a street view of Winnipeg, and it's an in-joke. And they've photoshopped a shawarma truck there. But we've got some wonderful costumes and even better effects. Look at this wire work. And using the LED screen to make the little flame jets. Inspired. I do love that he's descending for a really long time while the audience is meant to applaud. And I think they were probably, and there's just no mic picking up the audience sound, but it just comes across on the recording as dead silent as he slowly floats down. Whenever these productions involve any kind of stunt, I can't help but wonder if they've like cleared this with their insurance, hired a stunt safety coordinator, because it kind of seems like they've just stuck a winch up in the rafters and are now hoisting this guy around on a chain.
I need you to reach back there and unhook this new experimental arc reactor.
In the interest of fairness to the other plays, I do have to point out that this one has like some of the worst jokes so far, and they just go on for like a really long time.
It's the first rule of being a superhero. You don't get paid. It's like that Crash Test Dummy song.
Superman never made any money for saving the world from Solomon Grundy.
Yeah.
Like, the DC heroes are there too, and a character remarks that they're in the wrong universe.
In that day, many will say, "Did we not perform mighty works in your name?" And I will say, "Depart from me, for I never knew you." For this is the Marvel universe, not DC.
Captain America is Captain Canuck and makes a bunch of Canadian in-jokes.
Like, take off, eh? It's just with that hockey hair, I thought for sure you were a sidekick. Maybe you should wear a toque or something.
Black Widow has brown hair for some reason. I'm not saying that's intended to be an in-joke. I'm just saying I don't know why she doesn't have a wig. I think it's interesting that Thor is called the Son of Thunder instead of the God of Thunder.
Are you the son of hammers or the son of thunder?
The Son of Thunder is some kind of biblical phrase, but I think the reason they did it is that they didn't want to have a character called a god in their Easter play. That's my conspiracy theory. But then again, they did have that god joke in the Monty Python one, so I might be wrong. Also, they do mess up once and call him a demigod.
We've got your brother, the demigod.
Which, the implications of that in a Christian play are staggering, but I think that was just like an accident. I definitely would have predicted that Captain America would be our Christ figure because he's like very virtuous and he dies, he sacrifices himself, and then he gets resurrected. But no, they just picked Iron Man because that's the main character. And yes, the actor is doing a Robert Downey Jr. impression.
Seriously?
You have no idea who you're dealing with.
Shakespeare in the Park?
Story-wise, this one's really weak, which is a shame, because the premise of an Avengers church play is so funny to me.
I got bills I gotta pay, so I'm gonna work every day.
But really, the first half is lame meta jokes like the DC characters, and the second half is just Loki showing up and being like, okay, time to fight. There's honestly very little effort put into making this an Easter tale at all. I love the performance of Loki. He sings Call Me Maybe, and yes, we get original lyrics. This play is giving me everything I want.
The scepter I'm holding will destroy the earth, you're knowing, waiting for the door to open. Then I'm gonna call my army. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but I'm from Asgard. My name is Loki, and all the humans don't obey me, but I am a god, so kneel before me.
That lady I'm calling the choir director is playing Pepper Potts and has multiple songs, way more screen time than the actual Pepper got in any movie.
Faults? Well, that would be a little more difficult to quantify. Let me try this. Hold on.
I don't mind though, because she's the best. I do take issue with some of the other casting. It's especially noticeable in this play because they'll do whole dialogue scenes that are directly lifted from the films, but obviously with much worse delivery.
Loki is beyond reason, but he is still of Asgard, and he is my brother.
He's killed millions of people.
He's adopted.
I think this play would have been a great opportunity to find out that this is Chris Pratt's church. Like, the whole cast is in Halloween costumes, and then Star-Lord comes out. He's played by Chris Pratt, but he's also in a cheap Halloween costume. The Avengers fight Loki and Ultron, but Iron Man is caught and crucified.
Seize him! String him up! You know, Iron Man, I may have missed the point, but I'm sure you'll get the hang of it.
Okay, I know I said Back to the Future was my favorite, but actually this one might be my favorite crucifixion. After all, this is a musical crucifixion.
It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. Never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Never gonna keep me down.
The passion, the mashup, the steel girder, the winch yanking Iron Man up into the heavens. Incredible.
I feel fine.
Pepper, of course, gives us our post-crucifixion lament.
I'll reach out my hand to you. I'll have faith in all
Actually, I guess this one is a mid-crucifixion lament. That man is fully conscious. Makes it a little more awkward in my opinion. Keen-eared viewers will notice that that song is I'll Be There, and that they've already done that one before. Was this a power play? Was she trying to prove that she could out-sing her predecessor? You've got nothing to prove, Pepper. You're already my favorite.
What, is he moving? How is this possible?
I am Iron Man.
As soon as she's done singing, Iron Man is resurrected, and then all the Avengers sing Footloose to celebrate. A masterpiece. 2019's production is Joy Story. I was so excited for this one because it's Toy Story. It's Easter Toy Story. Sure. Look at that set. Look at those costumes. Wait, why is Mr. Potato Head wearing a blonde wig? Potato Head doesn't even have hair.
A new toy should be arriving any minute. Why don't we build a wall?
Oh no. You know, we've enjoyed almost a decade of people confidently thinking they can do Trump impressions. I'm sure we've all heard a lot of them. And of the ones I've heard, this one is probably the least recognizable. Sometimes it sounds like he's trying to do a weird Valley Girl accent instead.
That little netted gem is my wife. Who are you calling a sweet potato? She is the love of my life, okay?
I mean, this church is in Canada. What are they even getting out of this? Mrs. Potato Head isn't doing a Melania Trump impression at all. She's just a normal Mrs. Potato Head. Another weird element to this thing. On the whole, the Potato Heads are way too prominent throughout this story, way more than they ever were in the movies. Potato Head totally drops the Trump voice and adopts a country western accent to do some song called Bud the Spud, which I've never heard before.
And they all call me Bud the Spud. I'm Bud the Spud from the bright red mud, going down the highway smiling.
Probably some hit song for you freaks in Canada. In my opinion, if he's gonna do this whole song, which he does, he can at least struggle through it with the Trump voice. He owes me that much. Like, we might as well both suffer.
The Spuds are big on the back of my rig, and they're from Prince Edward Island. They're from Prince Edward Island.
Joy Story also has my least favorite pastor cameo. I won't say worst. A different one was probably the worst.
No.
But, you know, my least favorite. He plays Ken, and Barbie is way younger than him, and he keeps flexing, so the characters have to remark on how buff he is.
And I do arms on Thursday, so I'm definitely doing biceps on Valentine's Day.
Oh, wow, Ken. They're enormous.
They're huge.
And yes, I concede that he is remarkably buff for a pastor in his 60s, but I hadn't asked for that information. I also just, in general, don't know what he's going for with his performance.
Well, hi, guys. We've been down at Barbie's club playing tennis.
It doesn't sound like Ken. It doesn't sound like any earthly creature I've heard before.
And I, gotta change. I can't go out dressed like this. That would be ridiculous.
We get the worst cover of Barbie Girl I personally have ever heard. Although we're graced with another little faux car. The faux cars always elevate these productions. Also, in case you're wondering, they changed the word bimbo to disco, hanky-panky to holy moly, and took out the lyric about undressing her altogether and replaced it with a line about driving her car.
You my dog, rock and roll, baby, come and take me here, take me there, holy moly.
I feel like so far it's probably sounding like I hated this play, and no, it's actually one of my favorites. Like I said at the beginning, I liked the costumes, and I like them so much that like nothing could bring me down. Any wide shot, when you see the big Andy's room set they've built, and the full lineup of everybody in these lumpy Halloween costumes, you just can't help but love what you're seeing. This one also has an ambitious plot. That's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it ambitious. You'll have to decide for yourself whether that's a good thing or bad. In this story, God is Andy, which it makes sense, but still a lot to contemplate there.
Sure, we're all different, but Andy loves us equally the same.
Andy? I've never seen Andy, not even once. I'm starting to think that maybe Andy doesn't even exist, and we're all caught up in some grand illusion.
At first, they had me thinking this was going to be a very coherent play, because the whole first scene is just like a replica of the first Toy Story film.
To infinity and beyond!
So I thought they'd really be sticking to the book. Initially, the only real difference was that some characters from the sequels were there, and Mr. Potato Head was Donald Trump and had 800 lines of dialogue. But quickly, it becomes a mashup of Toy Stories 1 and 3. Buzz arrives, and Woody hates him.
Traveling at the speed of light, I wanna make a supersonic man out of you.
But we also get this dystopian tidbit from Woody about how every time a new toy shows up, an existing toy gets donated to daycare, which in this play is an allegory for death.
As I said before, every time a new toy comes, an old toy gets donated to daycare. And there are 2 daycares, Sunnyside and Fireside.
Unlike in Toy Story 3, there are 2 distinct daycares, one which is explicitly heaven, and the other which is explicitly hell. So apparently they live in this scary universe where for every birth, an immediate death must follow. Meanwhile, Lotso Huggin' Bear is totally different from his film role. He's like a hippie atheist, trying to spread his poisonous ideology to the other toys.
Nobody owns us. We own ourselves. We're masters of our own fate. We control our own destiny. All this talk you hear that when we leave this room, we will either end up at Sunnyside Daycare or Fireside Daycare, it's all baloney. This room is all there is, and the love we have for one another is all we really need.
You know, he makes a good point. What more could we ask for?
This play isn't really divided into proper scenes because it's just the same characters standing around in the same setting the whole time, but for what feels like roughly 3.5 scenes, the characters just kind of have a weird existential debate about whether living for the promise of Andy sending you to heaven is enough, or whether you should seek pleasure and fulfillment on earth.
This is all there is, what you see around you. What is important for us is that we just enjoy ourselves every day we have. All this fretting about what happens when you leave Andy's room is an exercise in futility.
As an audience, surely you're asking, how will such philosophical questions be resolved in this 40-minute Easter play? But then, a slip of the tongue.
We had the very same problem on Sector 4.
Sector 4? Wait a minute.
And Lotso Huggin' Bear reveals that he's actually the evil Emperor Zurg. So in the canon of this play, Zurg is Satan, and it is Satan himself who kills Jesus by shooting him with a bazooka.
It is finished.
It's a disappointing crucifixion, in my opinion. I really wanted to see one of these toys nailed to a cross. My favorite performer comes out to bless us with another post-crucifixion lament, Believer by Imagine Dragons.
I'm fired up and tired of the things that they have been, oh, ooh, the way the things have been, oh, ooh.
From a character perspective, I don't know why this lament falls to Mrs. Potato Head to lead, but okay, I guess they all join in anyway. I love this one. All these toys singing about their anguish. It's amazing.
Hey, you made me a believer, believer.
In the very next scene, Buzz Lightyear rises again. He comes in on a zip line, and again I have to wonder if there are any safety regulations on these things. Look, he doesn't even have brakes. He has to kick the plywood dresser to stop. They kill Satan Lotso, and all celebrate by singing that song from the Trolls movie. And they kind of change the lyrics.
And if you want it inside your soul, just
open up your heart, let Jesus take control.
This one was musically kind of unexciting, but it had plenty of bright spots. Overall, it's definitely in my top 3 Church of the Rock Easter plays. A perfect showcase of the way these productions have evolved over the years. There were no productions in 2020 or 2021 suggesting that the church did not encourage its congregation to gather in person during the height of the pandemic, which, you know, is nice. And that brings us to this year, 2022, The Lion King of Judah. There's so much to love about this one, but the most immediately apparent is the costumes. The horrifying morph suits, the bad wigs and makeup, the way they've put vests over most of them because they'd look too naked without them, and the star of the show, Toucan Sam Zazu. The hyenas are just straight up unaltered Spirit Halloween werewolf costumes. And they didn't just use the mask, they retained the torn flannel shirt portion of the costume. This play is a standout because we get a lead actor other than the youth pastor or the blonde guy with the extremely strong Canadian accent. Our Simba performer popped up in a few prior plays as supporting roles, but this is her first leading role. You can always spot her because she breathes really heavily directly into the mic.
And I am a superhero.
Hey, has anyone seen Ken and Barbie?
It's great to see you again, Sarah.
Why is it our kingdom?
The delicate way she yells, "Oh no," when she almost falls off Pride Rock kills me.
Oh no. Man, they get Pride Rock higher every year.
As in Joy Story, this one has a pretty coherent story and starts out more or less following the plot of the film with multiple scenes of entirely unedited dialogue. The first song is I Just Can't Wait to Be King, and immediately I started worrying that the entire soundtrack would just be all the songs from The Lion King, which to me would be a really boring adaptation. I needn't have worried because Scar very quickly kills Mufasa, and it's weirdly played for comedy with like cartoon sound effects.
Aim for the bushes! Ooh, so close.
Dad? Dad?
And then Scar hits us with this.
Run away and never return to the land of Judah. Finally, my time has come. Do you know where you are? You're in the jungle, baby.
I love our Scar actor. He's the clear breakout star of this one.
I shall never be king, and you shall never see the light of another day.
Timon and Pumbaa fulfill much the same role as they do in the movie. They represent the temptation for Simba to live in selfish hedonism rather than return and serve his people as king. Timon does have a weirdly specific line where he's like listing all of his vices, all of the ways that he's lazy and hedonist, and he specifically mentions not having a wife or paying taxes. So I guess those have some kind of moral quality attached to them as well.
We're living the dream here. No taxes, mortgage, no wife or kids. All the bugs, beetles, and worms you could eat.
Oh, also I think this Timon voice is good, but I don't know if that's a hard voice to do. You know how every man secretly has a Kermit the Frog impression, just like ready to go? Do you also all have a Timon voice, waiting for you to be cast in an Easter play? Together, Timon and Pumbaa sing The Lion Sleeps Tonight, and it's hard to overstate how unprepared either of these actors were to tackle this song.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Near the village, the peaceful village, the lion sleeps tonight.
In my opinion, that's a weird problem to have in one of these plays, because they're choosing not only the cast, but the songs. They didn't have to sing this one. No one was making them. They could have sang any song in the world, or no songs at all. And then, as soon as that song's done, they immediately follow it with Hakuna Matata. They do a much better job with that one, but I'm mostly floored that we're still stuck in a single scene containing 2 full-length musical numbers. And in this adaptation, Hakuna Matata was useless. They sing the whole song, and then at the end, Simba is just like, well, I disagree. I'm gonna go back to Pride Rock.
I just feel like I was born for something more than this, though.
Well, I guess that works too.
So yes, they omitted the entire iconic scene where Simba talks to the face of Mufasa in the heavens and has a change of heart. I would have thought that scene was particularly apt in a production where Mufasa is canonically God, but okay.
Mufasa? No, it's me, Simba. But if you've seen me, you've seen my father.
Back on Pride Rock, Simba confronts Scar, and I'm at least treated to some biblical Lion King dialogue.
Get thee behind me, Scar. Lions shall not live on me alone, but upon the word of truth and justice.
And then Simba and Scar fight through song.
How do you like his image? How do you like his style? How do you like the way he looks and the way he smiles?
Before you get too caught up in this song about how great Simba is doing, it's important to remember that this is an Easter play. So Simba is destined to be captured and nailed to the cross.
Let's hang this kitty by its paws and see if Mufasa comes to save it.
And of course, it's time for another post-crucifixion lament from my favorite. Yes, it's the same woman. I told you she's doing all of these now. And even better, it's another Adele cover.
Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too.
Bonus points for Timon and Pumbaa somberly placing Simba in the tomb. And of course, in the very next scene, Simba is risen.
Simba is alive. I hate to tell you this, but there is no way Simba is getting out of this one.
What? I don't believe it! I thought you were dead! I was dead, but I have risen, and I will live forevermore!
The characters all celebrate, singing and dancing to This Time for Africa by Shakira.
It's time for Africa.
I do have a bone to pick with the sermon at the end. I mean, I didn't watch it, but I can see when the pastor comes out for all his sermons that he's wearing a costume from the production. I was really looking forward to an entire 40-minute sermon in which this guy is wearing one of those spandex lion suits and a wig, but he totally copped out this year and just wore normal clothes. Weak. So, those are all the plays we've got. Unfortunately, I wish there were more. Having seen them all, I think my main takeaway is that the Easter story actually makes for a pretty bad play. Like, narratively. At least it is if the Christ figure is the protagonist, which he always is. But every single play, they'd have this dramatic crucifixion, and then right away the Jesus guy would just come back off screen. It felt so anticlimactic. The protagonist's greatest triumph happens unseen. We don't even get to see the character's response to it happening, like, emotionally. But then I'd remember they can't help it, because it's an Easter play. Like, this is what they've got. So, I don't know, in the future, maybe they should pull from Bible stories that have a more traditional narrative structure. It'll be kind of weird if it's not a well-known story that's associated with a major holiday. And admittedly, even more weird when everybody's dressed like the cast of Finding Nemo. But I think you'll find it delivers a more satisfying theatrical experience. If you can find these online, I do encourage giving them a watch, especially in like a watch party setting. You can make themed snacks. And I discourage you from harassing the church, emailing the church a link to my video like you got owned, or narking on the church by emailing the copyright holders of these films or songs. Honestly, I really like sharing obscure, embarrassing things from weird corners of the internet, but I feel like every time I do, somebody comes along and has to ruin it for everybody just because they want attention or something. I, for one, hope to see next year's production, so thank you in advance for not doing anything stupid. And for all the rest of you, I would like to make a humble prayer request. Please, no matter your faith, pray that in 2023, the Church of the Rock will do an Easter play based on James Cameron's Avatar. The sequel will have just come out, so it will be extremely relevant. Jake Sully can die on the cross and then be resurrected into his Avatar body. They can make a stunning Ikron puppet out of wire and felt, and that'll be like the main set piece. Maybe a mech suit for the evil general guy. And of course, we'll have that one lady playing Neytiri, and she'll sing the post-crucifixion lament, Easy on Me, from Adele's newest album. I've got it all figured out, so pray hard. Don't ruin this for me.
It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. Never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Never gonna keep me down.
It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I
get knocked down, but I get up again. Never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
As we know it.
Keep me down.
It's
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
As we know
Never gonna
it.
keep me down.
It's
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
As we know
Never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down.
I feel fine.
If I was in a betting pool, my prediction for the 2023 play would actually be Jurassic Park. I haven't worked out which one I think would be Jesus yet. I guess just Alan because he's the main character. The 3 backup dancers they always have would be wearing Velociraptor masks. And then Satan, the bad guy, would be the youth pastor in one of those inflatable T-Rex suits that went viral like at least 5 years ago, which kind of matches up with their humor timeline. And that one lady would be Ellie, and the post-crucifixion lament would be that one Diana Ross song from The Land Before Time. That's my prediction. It's topical. It's not what I want. Give me Avatar.